Is the trend really your friend? Let's ask Raghee Horner. Hi, Raghee.
How are you?
I'm good. A lot of people want to fight the trend or get in front of it. Is the trend really your friend?
It is, but it depends if you're in the market already. I think if the trend is your friend, it's because you're already short a downtrending market or you're already long an uptrending market. If you're not in that trend, though, it really is the toughest thing to trade, because most people want to trade the new high in an uptrend. I think that's the absolute wrong thing to do, unless it's a 52-week new high and the psychology accompanying it. I think the toughest thing, it's like the kid who missed a school bus. We're running after the thing. That's the way we feel. At least that's the way I feel. The trickiest thing is to be patient and wait for that trend to correct. And we all know if it's a healthy trend, it must correct, and it will correct. But being patient is the tough part.
What's another thing that would really help a trader other than patience?
Oh, gosh, that's a long list. I think the biggest thing, again, going back to staying within yourself, staying within your strategy, and specifically I mean by that, whatever strategy anybody out there is trading with right now, there is a market cycle or a market environment that it's best designed for. So maybe you have a breakdown strategy that takes advantage of the market when it has no opinion, moving sideways, and you wait for that opinion to show up in the form of a breakout or a breakdown. The toughest part is knowing when to apply that strategy. If someone tells me they're a swing trader, or someone tells me there's a trend trader, my first question is, how do you identify that environment under which circumstances you will apply that swing trading approach? So most people look at me with blank stares, because if they have an approach, they apply it to all the markets. And I think that's why a lot of traders find this hit or miss type of success. They might have a hammer and a screwdriver, but we all know there's very specific times for each tool. Trading's no different.
Okay, so you have to have a good full toolbox. You can't just rely on one thing.
You're absolutely right. I think you need, there's really 4 market moods, if you ask me. I think there's obviously the uptrends and downtrends, and then there's 2 types of sideways markets. We have an accumulation cycle and a distribution, which is that wider, more volatile cycle. This is Charles Dow 101. This is 100-year-old, looks at the market, and it still works. With all our fancy equipment and our iPhones and laptops, the stuff that I read from printed in the early 1900s still works, and still works the best, in my opinion.
It's funny.
We haven't changed as market participants at all.
And every time they say there's a new way, it's different this time. Right. Don't buy it.
Don't buy it, but look back and see who's reworded it, rehashed it. It's the same record, just with some different wording. But it's so much. We're repetitive creatures. We go back.
How much back testing should you do?
I don't do a lot of back testing. One of the things I learned when I started back testing was I don't know if the liquidity is going to be at that price point. So when I was a stock trader, let's say I wanted to move 10,000 shares. Well, there may not be that liquidity. Price may have printed there, but I may not have been able to get my fill. So I'm very much a student of go ahead and try the approach of putting it to work in the real market, risking very little money. I think that's where, for new traders, micro lots, mini lots, for Forex come in really handy.
Raghee, thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Raghee Horner.